an end. The end has come upon the four corners of the land, and now the end has come upon to you. And I will send my anger against you, and I will judge you according to your ways, and I will repay you for all your abominations. My eye will not spare you, nor will I have pity, but I will repay your ways, and your abominations will be in your midst. And then you shall know that I am the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, a disaster, a singular disaster. Behold, it has come, an end has come, the end has come, and it has dawned for you. Behold, it has come, doom has come to you, you who dwell in the land. The time has come, a day of trouble is near, and not of rejoicing in the mountains. Now upon you I will soon pour out my fury, and I will spend my anger upon you. I will judge you according to your ways, and I will repay you for all of your abominations. My eye will not spare you, nor will I have pity. I will repay you according to your ways, and your abominations will be in your midst. And then you shall know that I am the Lord who strikes. Behold the day, behold it has come. Doom has gone out, the rod has blossomed, and pride has budded. Violence has risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, none of their multitude, none of them. Nor shall there be wailing for them. The time has come, and the day draws near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is on their whole multitude. For the seller shall not return what he has been sold, though he may still be alive, for the vision concerns the whole multitude, and it shall not turn back. No one will strengthen himself who lives in iniquity. They have blown the trumpet and made everyone ready, but no one goes to battle, for my wrath is on their multitude. The sword is outside, and the pestilence and famine within. Whoever is in the field will die by the sword, and whoever is in the city, famine and pestilence will devour them. Those who survive will escape and be on the mountains, like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, each for his iniquity. Every hand will be feeble, and every knee will be as weak as water, and they will also be girded with sackcloth. Horror will cover them. Shame will be on every face, and baldness on their heads. They will throw their silver in the streets, and their gold will be like refuse. Their silver and their gold will not be able to deliver them. In the day of the wrath of the Lord, they will not satisfy their souls, nor fill their stomachs, because it became the stumbling blocks of iniquity. As for the beauty of his ornaments, he set it in majesty, but they made from it the image of their abominations, their detestable things. Therefore I have made it like refuge to them. I will give it as plunder into the hands of strangers, and to the wicked of the earth as spoil, and they shall defile it. And I will turn my face from them, and they will defile my secret place, where robbers shall enter it and defile it. Make a chain, for this land is filled with the crimes of blood, and the city is full of violence. Therefore I will bring the worst of the Gentiles, and they will possess their houses, and I will cause the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places will be defiled. Destruction comes. They will seek peace, but there shall be none. Disaster will come upon disaster, and rumor will come upon rumor. Then they will seek a vision from a prophet, but the law will perish from the priests, and a counsel from the elders, and the king will mourn, and the prince will be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the common people will tremble. I will do to them according to their ways, and according to what they deserve I will judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So I think this is really important, because especially what just happened, like, as you've seen, obviously, things are popping off, first of all. So, like, there's that big thing that happened in the flooding in Texas. Then there's talk about the incineration of some huge quantities of stored food. Now, people are trying to blame Trump and Elon Musk for a lot of these things, but what they don't realize is that food is contaminated. The people that are in the powers that be, the governments, the churches, the world, really. It's like it's become a place of wickedness. Like it's become a place where God needs to come and step in, and that we need to be judged for our ways. So, and again, because this food is the food is contaminated, not with poisons like you think it is, but it's contaminated with much worse things. And so I've been making a lot of videos about demonic entities and dark contracts and blood oaths and cannibalism and these cults and covens and corrupt officials and churches and spirits that are attached to people or using false contracts or false marriages, and how they can like swap consciousness and do these things, and that how like certain things in the Bible are timeless, but other things are not timeless. And again, so right now, because again, it says straight up in the Bible, this was Satan's domain, right? His throne was where the land and the water meet. And it's not that God has turned his back or forgotten us. There's rules to certain things, and there's other powers and other spirits and ancestors and things that are even just outside of our ability to comprehend or grasp. Even the most enlightened of us couldn't even fathom the astronomical awesomeness of this world and God's creation. So, but again, there was like over throughout time, millions of years, thousands of years, there's these certain things that happen and wars that happen because, and again, the devil doesn't play fair, right? So for a long time, the people that, well, and I say people loosely because again, these are spiritual beings that are meant to be protectors, but again, they were prevented from coming in to be aware of what was going on so much because again, the devil is a trickster. These demons and these entities, and they've had so much reign and so much illusion, especially with the magic and technology that they've been able to use to infiltrate the people's minds and bodies, hearts and souls and bank accounts. So again, behind the scenes, it's taken a long time, but again, now the borders that were preventing people from, not people, these entities and these spirits that are for the light, for God, for the people that are meant to be protectors, that are meant to be the ones to drag the devil to hell and to make right the wrongs that has been going on for so long. The veil has been lifted. Things are now known. And the reason that Trump is going to incinerate this food is because it's for the protection and it's for God's order. Because again, once, like I was saying about alcohol or drugs, when you ingest this stuff willingly, you then take on the entity of the spirit. That's why they call liquor and spirits, right? So again, and then if there is no dark entity, you still open the door to it. Just like how I was saying, like weed being the gateway drug. Yeah, nobody jumps from weed to murder, but like you slowly are going to be exposed to more harder drugs, bigger criminals, darker places. And again, the movies and the music has desensitized us and opened the door for all these things. And again, even through the clothes that we wear, the education system, the churches, every single thing has been corrupted and tainted and being used against us. Even, again, there's coded things that are going on even in the music and the movies that has desensitized us. That's like why not too long ago, when like somebody was set on fire at the train station, like in broad daylight, around 1 million people, and nobody did a damn thing. These people are raping kids. Excuse me, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I hear a lot of people use like grape and stuff like that, but either way, I'll put an age restriction on it, I guess. But either way, so there has to be ways to stop this. And because they literally put meat, like human meat, like cut up meat, into the food supply, these chemicals, these poisons, these nanotechnologies that then they can use a program to control you, and they use frequency and energy and these other machines to control your emotions, to turn you into domestic violence, to make you be more prone to promiscuity. Anyway, again, these are sex covens, these are sex demons, these are pedos, these are billion-dollar churches and billion-dollar corporations and colleges that are doing these ungodly things that people, again, we might see it in a movie and we think it's entertainment, but it's happening real life every day. People are having children just to murder them or sacrifice them. People are able to make their children look like grown-ass adults and doing these YouTube videos and doing like child labor, like making them slaves and trying to earn money illegally, or they're sending their daughters out to marry serial killers or to go fuck, excuse my language, millionaires, and then in the middle of the night when the dude passed out asleep because he drunk and sexed all night, Then the little girl turns back into a little girl. They take some pictures, boop, 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 and now they blackmail him. Now he either has to marry her because, again, they want access to the billions or millions of dollars that this person has. And people get so afraid for their skeletons and dirty deeds to come to light that they become victim of these blackmails or these marriages. Same with the handlers in Hollywood. These people think that they're meeting their divine partner or somebody they love, but it's all illusion. It's all magic. You don't really know what these people even look like or what they're doing. They're siphoning your spiritual and actual life force and energy. They're stealing your inheritance. They're stealing your creative spark or your creative content. They're stealing your businesses. They're stealing your homes. They're stealing your children. The same way that there's like a war like between light and dark or this country or that country, like they're trying to build an army. So again, if you have a jealous of spirit or a demonic entity that's inside somebody and they go and have a child with somebody else, whether it's good or bad person or spirit, like it's then corrupted. So then also too, that's another thing. They're trying to build up the numbers for the demonic army. They're trying to contaminate the food because once you ingest these certain human meats or these crimes are committed because they have used these nanobot technologies or the frequency to play on your heart or your spirit and make you angry, to keep you broke and living in lack and putting thoughts in your head to make you murder your kids or your wife because you think she's cheating or because you think God told you that your child's a demon or because you're pregnant and you don't know who the kid is, who's the kid's father, blah, 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 or because you have a kid with somebody else and now you're pregnant by this person, you're going to sacrifice this kid because this witch or that demon told you they're going to give you money to do it, or if you let some demonic pastor have sex with your child, you're like, oh, I'm going to get money so it's okay. Like, or that because they use magic and mushrooms to make your children look like adults and you can make them perform like little puppets on YouTube as hero readers or models for or music talent, actresses. There's so many things that you just don't even know the astronomical amounts that people have gone through for money. And so God has come in and He has told the people that can do things, even simple people like me, to spread the word, to spread the truth. Again, there's things that Hollywood couldn't even script if they tried. But again, it's very much real. Just like God is very much real, Jesus is very much real. And again, you can tell these things by just talking about it and see who gets mad and who starts. Again, these conspiracy theorists they label, or these gang stalking things and these corrupt officials and these things. Again, God, even if you're afraid, okay, say you find yourself in this situation, someone's blackmailing you into doing something, or you signed a blood oath or a corrupt and binding contract under duress, like say they threaten to murder you, your children, your family, your this, they're going to expose this secret, that secret. Always turn to God. First of all, but legality-wise, it doesn't matter what country you're in, how age you are, blood oath or inked, it's null and void if it's done under duress or false context and constructs, number one. Number two, God is stronger than any blood oath or inked contract. So always turn to Him. You'll see too, pray to Him, talk to Him. If you believe even for a minute that you're not worthy of help or worthy of a way out, you're wrong. God loves you. I love you. You're worth saving. So again, don't be afraid to ask for help, be it from me, your neighbor, your friend, your family, or more importantly, ask God, ask Jesus. Because again, there's no prayer heaven won't hear, and there's no dirty deed that's too dirty if you are actually repentant and ask for help. But again, the time is now, and it's about to be really scary times. And the reason that Elon Musk is doing this shit with the missiles or Mars or the power grids and the internet is because he's protecting us. Trump too. People can say what they want to say, but he is actually doing right by us, but for the first time. And some of the people don't realize that this hate or these separations, and this is all like generational program and conditioning. So again, people think too that we're a democracy here in America, but we're really supposed to be a democratic republic, by the people, for the people, and against tyrannical governments and corrupt corporations. But we forget that. We think because we vote that we're automatically a democracy, and we think that if you're a Democrat, then you're a Democrat, and if you're a Republican, then you're the devil. But in fact, we're supposed to be Republicans. We're supposed to be conservative. The conservative people and the Republicans are supposed to be, they're not supposed to be, but again, they are more about saving the sanctity of the family and of the independence that you so much seek. Again, it's all been corrupted, and we've all been programmed and bait and switched in this illusion magic, and we don't even know what we're fighting about or what we're fighting for or voting for. Like, take the time to do the research and figure out why would Trump incinerate this food. And do you think he's just going to incinerate this food and then let these kids go hungry? Again, Kennedy died because of false media. Like, he told us, first of all, most people don't know that he had an older brother that was really supposed to be president. And most people don't know that the mob is the reason that the Kennedys got into power anyway, because they wanted a puppet. And they thought that once Kennedy was in there, they were going to be able to get the regulations lifted on the labor unions or the Hollywood industry, and because again, they were sexualizing children very early on, and there was a lot of laws that were going on and regulations regarding labor unions, rights to work, abortion, welfare, separation of church and state, yada, yada, yada. It continues and goes on. People don't realize that the Titanic was a hit. Like, first of all, it was an insurance scam. There was 2 boats. One was super old, and that's the one they put in place of what was really what we thought was the Titanic. Number 2, all these bigwigs were all supposed to be on the ship, right? But instead, at the last second, of course, everybody that was supposed to be there didn't show up, except the last man that had the money and the means and the backing to stop the building of the Federal Reserve Bank. Because again, we didn't want to unionize the money system. Whether you realize that or not, that's exactly why we left England. Is because again, we didn't want taxation without representation. We wanted religious freedom. We wanted freedom of speech. We wanted freedom of sovereignty, civil rights in our houses and our families. And again, all they've been doing is separating us and weakening us more and more and more and more and more. And then again, to the point where now even they have the ability to remove the consciousness from your partner and swap it out. So 1 minute you're with your wife or your kids, and the next minute you're with an actual witch or warlock or demon, and you have no idea. But again, then they're harvesting your essence and purity, and again, or corrupting the food supply. Because again, once you ingest that, you look like you're signing over your allegiance to the devil. You look like you're a willing participant, and that you're complacent and compliant in these ungodly acts. So again, be mindful of what you invest your money in, what you put into your body, what you put into your mouth. Now, what God says you can't say something's unclean that God says is clean. But again, we need to go back to what we are meant to eat. We are humans, which is light. We need to be eating more food that is from the sun, that is grown in the dirt and the sun, and not these chemically altered and tainted foods, which again, we just had this big thing a while back about McDonald's. They found like actual human meat in the factories, in the meat. Again, 99% of the food that we eat here in America is literally illegal in every other country. Even the honey that we eat here in America is not actually honey. Like, give it a Google, look it up, like, do research about big law and these big corporations and what's really in your food. Like, everybody talks about like vegans or organic health nuts and blah, 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 but it's not fiscally possible or economically sound for the working class family, okay? But again, that's because the working class family is who keeps it up. But also, if they that's where all the numbers are. Think about it. Only 1% of the population is some big wig money guy, right? So that means that 99% of us are all low, and again, which means that we're cut out of the loop. We're cut out of the information. This is, again, what religion and these secret societies used to be. They had the secrets. They had the power, the magic, the means, and the motive. They were the ones. You would have to go to them to get education. They were the only ones who could read. They were the only ones who could tell the stories, that we're able to even pray or anything, to even walk freely in the streets during certain times. We think that we're so free, but yet we have to have identifications, and essentially that's still the Jim Crow laws, right? That's still segregation. There's some weird wire that's going all around like 90% of New York City because of supposedly some religion thing. But again, look into it. Again, and if it was a religious border, so, and it has to do with Shabbat and like the where, because again, there's certain laws that you can't do certain things on certain things according to the Torah and the laws of Moses and the original Bible and yada yada yada. I don't mean yada 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 disrespectfully, but I mean like these words are all a little bit out of touch for most people. So I'm going to spare you because also too I want you to do the research yourself. And just again, the end is coming. And I don't mean like the end of the world. I mean like the end of the world as we know it, because it needs to be done. Because God is finally, not finally, because again, He is never late. So don't get that twisted for a minute. But the powers that be, the corrupt demons, the cults, the covens, the churches, the false prophets, these mother truckers are going down. Like it's all, the veil has been lifted and everything you have done is come to light. And everybody, it is not too late until it's too late. So again, He will judge us according to our hearts and according to our actions. And again, there will be no coming back from it. And especially because of these big things with these sex trafficking rings and these corporations and such. That's why it's the Bible verses that I just read. It says, "Let not the buyer return it, and let not the seller be mournful." Because again, you fucking dug your grave. Like it's too late. And again, we prayed for you. We knew that you were a rebellious house, but again, God is such a great Father, and He tried so many times to give you a chance to turn away, to choose this day, this moment, this hour, at any time, to change and to repent, to turn to Him, away from the darkness. But again, these people are so corrupted, so used to the drugs or the magic or the power and the money that they just can't let it go. And so now, unfortunately, they're going to have to be death and pestilence and sword. If you want violence, you get violence. If you want pestilence, you get pestilence. If you want famine, you get famine. If you infiltrated these people's lives, these hearts, these minds, if you brutalized the family, the sanctity of marriage, the churches, the education system, the youth, then you are going to be brutalized, and nobody is going to pity you because justice needs to be done. But justice is not for us. Justice is for God. Vengeance is for God. So just again, and like Jesus said, if somebody does wrong, you're supposed to forgive them like 77,000 times, again and again and again. And again, Jesus forgives. God forgives. And we still love Him when it's ugly, but we don't have to keep allowing this. Even Jesus and God have walls and limits, and so should we. So set boundaries, be mindful, seek the information, stop just jumping on the bandwagon in your soapbox and thinking for a minute that you're fooling anyone. Because again, He knows. He knows. I know. Even some of the YouTube people that I've watched, that I've met, that like God's messengers, I've walked with them through these different time spaces and through these different things to get these messages but now I've also seen them be corrupted and be a trickster. And they were given another chance, but now they're still, somehow they've got the crack in their armor, and another entity is using them. And again, there will be tells. Look at their eyes, look at their clothing they wear, the body language, the language they speak. You will, if you look, you will see. And that's the problem. Like God said, these people have eyes, but they do not see. They have ears, but they do not hear. And they are from a rebellious house. But even rebelliousness can be stopped. You don't have to keep going with the crowd. You don't have to keep doing these ungodly things. Even if your family, even if your friends are, even if it's hard to stop, just ask Him for help. If something's too hard for you, or feel like you're in too deep, or you're too ashamed, first of all, never be too ashamed. He will never turn away from you. That's what real love is. It comes with no strings and stipulations, but there is a limit to everything, right? So again, love each other, love yourself most importantly, because that's the best way to beat these demons, to prevent them from coming in and continuing. These witches, these warlocks, these dragons, these other bad entities, love is what's going to beat them and build that bridge and unite us all so we can build that chain and we can build the fence and we can keep out the fucking bad guys and build us new Eden and heaven on earth as God wants and as we deserve.